1. Another one full, Sarah said, carefully tipping the contents of her apron into the sack. The peeled chestnuts cascaded dutifully down onto their fellows before Sarah tied off the top of the sack so she could carry it to the cart. The chestnut harvest had been good this year, and they'd have plenty of flour to see them through till spring, once these had been milled, of course. "How do you peel them so fast?" Silvana said, staring at her half-full basket. She stabbed a knife into a shell, and the nut jumped out, surprising her. "Practice, and knowing which ones are ready, and which need more time," Sarah answered. She seized her empty basket and headed up to the smokehouse. She breathed deeply as she ascended the stairs to the upper level, where the racks of sweet-smelling chestnuts dried over the smoke from their smouldering shells on the level below. It took her right back to her childhood, when her grandfather had first brought her in here. She'd had to stretch up onto her toes to see the rows of round nuts lined up on the racks, and the one that burst open before her eyes. She'd squealed at the glimpse of creamy gold flesh amid all that brown, and her grandfather had helped her peel the nut and take it home. If she'd known then that she'd inherit the smokehouse, along with all the rest of her family's holdings, when sickness had carried away her parents and all her siblings in one horrible summer, and she'd struggled through her first autumn harvest alone, she might have been less excited about that first visit. But grief no longer stabbed at her heart as it had all those years ago, and she'd spent every harvest since shelling nuts with Tola and Maria, Silvana's mother, until one cold winter's night, when the reaper had called for Maria, too. If only she had a daughter who would take her place at the table with Silvana and Tola's daughter, Svanhild, when she was gone. Though the way fate had shaped her life so far, Sarah herself would probably teach Silvana and Svanhild's daughters to shell the nuts, her fingers as gnarled as the chestnut kernels themselves. Sarah shook herself. Such thoughts were silly. She had no need of a daughter. She had a fine son. Tobias would be a man soon enough, ready to marry and have children of his own. If only his father had lived long enough to see him. Were those tears on her cheeks? Surely not. It was perspiration from the heat in here. She should fill her basket quickly and head back outside. By the time she reached the cooler air outside, Silvana had emptied her basket and was headed into the smokehouse for a refill. "Can you teach me to choose the right ones? Both you and Tola work so much faster than me. I'll never be good enough." Silvana's eyes brimmed with tears. Sarah pried the basket from the girl's hands. "Your mother was always the slowest of the three of us when it came to peeling the nuts. But she was the best at pressing them. Here, take my basket and put them in the pressing barrel. I'll fill yours for you." "Really?" Sarah gave a nod, and the girl hastened back to the table where Tola still sat. The morning passed quickly, until the cart could hold no more. Silvana might have spent more time stamping on the nuts in the pressing barrel than picking or peeling them, but Sarah didn't mind. She'd done her fair share of dancing the pressing barrel when she was a girl. Now her feet would hurt by day's end if she did Silvana's job. "Will you join us for the midday meal?" Sarah asked Silvana. The girl shook her head, furrowing her brow. "I'll take the cart down to father at the mill. I must make sure he has his dinner," she said. Sarah nodded. Regulo had not taken his wife's death well.